That's right.
You need to go into labor, turn this on.
That's right. You know, Joe Biden's son Hunter was on GMA this morning to defend himself against conspiracy theories from you-know-who about his foreign business deals in China and board position for a Ukrainian gas company. Take a look.
You know what? I'm a human. And you know what? Did I make a mistake? Well, maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah. But did I make a mistake based upon some unethical lapse? Absolutely not.
Why did you leave the board in April?
It's a 5-year term.
And you chose not to?
I chose
continue.
not to. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's pretty obvious why.
This is your opportunity to say why.
Well, because this is what becomes a distraction, because I have to sit here and answer these questions. And so that's why I've committed that I won't serve on any boards or I won't work directly for any foreign entities when my dad becomes president.
So, did he need to come out and do all of this? Was this the right time? I mean, I know he doesn't have anything to do with saying, you know, put it on today. That's a GMA call. But, you know, was this necessary given in our history in America of folks working in different places and such?
Well, you know, I certainly think that there have been a lot of people that have said, wow, why hasn't Hunter come out? We haven't heard enough of a denial from the Bidens. And so perhaps they wanted to put it to rest. But I just think it's the height of hypocrisy for Donald Trump and his family to say anything about any other family's foreign interests anywhere in the world, because we know, even though he's right, I mean, even though he's president, he has work. His sons are running his company, and they have work in 24 countries, including Turkey, in Istanbul, and we know what's going on in Turkey. And the other thing is Ivanka works in the White House, and she just got all these trademarks from China. Jared is meeting with people in the White House. He works for the White House, meeting with people for loans which he received. So don't tell me that his family isn't using the office of the presidency almost like a cash register. So he should say nothing about no one. Just my opinion.
But I was one of the first to say that it didn't look good when this came out. And I am someone that says, get out in front of it, put a face on it, let people know that you're a human being. And I think he did a good job of that. What I loved, he said, my dad doesn't have to defend me, but he has to love me. And my dad loves me more than anything. This story's not going away because this is what the impeachment is all about, and the president and his kids are going to hammer this home. He also wants to stay out of politics. He's like, I don't want to be a political football. Leave me out of this. And speaking as someone like Meghan who's been in politics as a kid, if you don't want to work in the White House or in the administration, it's a tough position to be in. You don't want to be involved. So I actually think he did himself some favors because the debate's going to happen tonight. Tomorrow, the headlines. I hope the headlines aren't this interview still, because the Democrats have a lot of other issues to be talking about right now, including the life of the American people, our military, Syria, the economy, healthcare. The list goes on and on and on. So if this is our biggest issue right now, what's going on with Hunter Biden, yes, it looked bad. I hope we can all learn from this, including the Trump family, and say ethics do matter. Where we work matters. But we've got bigger issues to solve right now, in my opinion. We've got to move on. I'm sorry, I'm kind of over this story. I really am. I think we need to move along as a country.
Unfortunately, the rest of the country is trying to figure it out. But go ahead, babe.
It's just hard for me. I totally disagree with you. I don't think he did a great job. I think when he said, look, I'm a private citizen, part of the problem is he also said I probably wouldn't have gotten this job if I weren't a Biden. And I think it was some criticism that's been held against other politicians' children, is you sort of have to choose your lane. And I get that there are kids who don't, and I say kids, by the way, he's almost 50 years old, family members of politicians who say they don't want to be about it. But I know for my family, and again, it's just my experience, you're a unit. And I always say it's like being in a mafia family, and you all roll together and you know what you're getting into. So the oppo that's done, I don't understand why you would do this interview at this moment in time, and maybe this was just like a call by ABC, but this will be a conversation in the debates tonight. And if you don't think Julian Castro or Kamala Harris is going to take the shot when they have it, metaphorical shot, I keep saying that because I talk like a redneck, I'm sorry. I don't understand the strategy of having it done right now. I would have preferred to see him in a suit. I would have preferred to see him one-on-one in a studio. I think it's fine if you're talking about your addiction issues, but when you're talking about possibly taking money that people have questionable ethics behind, and listen, this is breaking my heart It's breaking my heart all day long. I love Joe Biden. I love his family. Hunter Biden has had a lot of issues he's struggled with for a long time. But you know what's also breaking my heart? Some of these poll numbers. Elizabeth Warren is leading in the CBS YouGov poll 32 to 24% in New Hampshire. So she's going to take these opportunities. And yes, the American public, I don't know who cares, but Democratic primary voters are going to care. And Elizabeth Warren, mark my words tonight, or one of these guys, one of the 12 people running and girls, will take the shot in front of them.
Well, I think it's interesting that Joe Biden was the vice president for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And this has now come up. And also, Hunter was working with this company before he became vice president. So they knew him, and so it's not unusual. But, this is something that this particular president likes to do. He likes to bend over and spew poo out when he's nervous.
He likes to project also what he's guilty of. He projects on other people.
Look, it doesn't absolve the Trump family at all in any way. Theirs is arguably much worse. But the problem for Democrats is you are setting the precedent that we are so much better, cleaner. We are not the swamp people that the Trumps are.
Well, actually,
and when you have this conversation that's on the national stage,
everybody is the Trump, is the swamp people. If we read and see who is, from the Bushes to from John Quincy Adams.
Running
all the way,
but I don't think Elizabeth Warren thinks she's a swamp person.
No, most people don't think they're swamp people. Because most people are trying.
Though?
Well, I'm saying, what's
the alternative to the Hunter Biden response?
Well, the alternative to the Hunter Biden. No, I think Joe spoke about it.
I would have done it earlier. Number one.
Well, I think Joe spoke about it. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to think, well, how dumb was everybody in the White House to not have seen this 8 years ago? I mean, this is not like this just happened. The man was vice president for 8 years. So if no one looked at it, nobody said, oh, this is terrible. And he said in this interview, maybe the optics are not great. Okay. Yeah. But you can't point to anything that my father did. You can't point to anything that I did. That's illegal. And to me, that is the key. What the Democrats need to do tonight is what they've needed to do every time they get together.
Convince American people.
Tell people what you're going to do for them. Tell them how you're going to make it better. Because now, Americans, you can't put your kid on the summer program because you don't have any money, because you couldn't put anything aside.
But that's the American public broadly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking about primary voters and the battleground that's going on right now.
Everybody who is going to vote, because to me, if you can't convince America why you're going to make it better for them just on a daily basis, because you Americans, we all are working to pay our taxes. We are taxed within an inch of our behinds by everybody, and part of the problem is the man that's in there now put together a tax program that was supposed to make it better and didn't.
But okay, I understand. I hear you.
Okay, I know you do.
I do, and I respect what you're saying.
Thank you.
But I am saying that for me, the primary battleground that's happening right now, and primary voters are still different than general electorate voters, and this is a huge distraction, and it's a huge narrative problem. Again, when Democrats are saying, look at all the, as you so eloquently stated, Sonny, all of the money that the Trumps are making, and at the same time, Hunter Biden is refusing to say how much money he made off these involvements. He says, I'm a private citizen, I'm not going to sit here and open my kimono as it relates to how much money I make. To me, there's many different ways he could have answered the question, and no one is more emotionally involved with Joe Biden at this table than I am. I love him and his family dearly. I would have preferred a cleaner interview.
But don't you think
wait, hold up. Let's go, and then come back if we're going to do more. We'll be back with more Hot Topics.
Later, Bolton bombshell. Shocking testimony that former